Hey you guys, my name is Mashakati McKenzie. Today's topic is death of a parent. If you want to find out more about the program, you can find out more at www.poetrygirl.wibby.com. Today's guest is Tyrone Gooding. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's multi-talented. He sings, he acts, he does numbers of things. Today, Tyrone is going to discuss how he felt about his father being killed and being had to grow up without a father. So Tyrone, how did you feel about all that?
It was a very tragic and hard time in my life. Basically, it was really like a struggle for me to go through without him, because most people, some people, when their father's not around, it's because he chose not to be, or they've never known him their whole life. But my father was very active in my life. He was always there, coaching my football team, teaching me everything every single day. So it was very hard to go through.
Really? So did you have to step up in his shoes, or how was home after the death of your father?
I did have to step up. I had to, go from, being the person that, my mom always had to ask me to do something, or, she needs something, so she always, asked me to do it, and I didn't do it, and she asked me again and over and over and over again. But, once that happened, I realized that, somebody got to do it.
So did you feel like it took your childhood away?
I don't feel like it took my childhood away. It just made me grow up. I won't even say faster. I'll say it made me grow up realizing what responsibility really is. Even at a younger age, I knew what had to be done. Even if, some kids had to wait until they got out on their own to learn it. But I learned it back then because I had to.
So that's the positive. So what do you have any negatives of not having a father?
It is a lot of negatives. It basically, cut the revenue in half, so we had to struggle and save up harder than we used to do. There was a time my father was an actor, and he went on the road a lot, and he took us with him, and that completely stopped after that. And it was like we could tell that there was a void in our life. And even though we tried our best to keep times happy, we were still in the back of our minds that he was gone. So we had to. Eventually, we got over it, and we realized that. Basically he wouldn't want us to sit around and not make things happen without him. We would just have to keep working until we got things right.
Right. So do you think your younger siblings suffered more because you did have more time with your father, right? Mm-hmm. So do you think your younger siblings suffered more than you did?
I think so. Because, me growing up, I was always, I had that discipline. I knew that if I didn't do this, then this was going to happen. So, once he left, I did it because I know that that's what he would want me to do. But considering that I feel like my younger siblings had less time with that, they feel like, if they don't do this, then it just won't be done. Nothing bad is going to happen. They'll be okay. They'll make it. It can be done by somebody else, as opposed to, this is my family. I got to look out for them and make sure that they're okay. So, even though, but, now I feel like it's up to me to make sure that that point is made.
Right, so you feel like you got to be their discipline to mold that part of them in them.
Yeah, so that, I'm not going to say that I'm doing the best job of it, considering that I'm away and, I'm out of town a lot. So, but, whenever I'm around, I try and help and give the best advice that I can and let them know that, their mother can't really do it alone. She's trying her hardest, but, she can't really do it alone. She definitely needs their help.
Right, so how is your relationship with God? Or was your relationship with God strong then? Did it decrease because he took your father away? Or how was your relationship with God?
My relationship with God was very close when my father was alive, because it was, it was forced upon me, but at the same time it was really more voluntary, because everything we did involved that. The things that I loved, acting and singing, all involved God. And, once he left, we got closer to God because of him passing, but after a while, because he wasn't there, it kind of diminished. And it kind of felt like even though we needed him to be around, to help us get there, it's like, since he's not there, we're not really going. If we're going, then it's because okay, I'm up, I might as well go. But after a while, after you realize that your father isn't necessarily the one you should be looking to, you should be looking to God himself.
Wow.
Then eventually you figure out that I shouldn't go to church because someone's making me. I'm going to church because God is there. He wants me to be there.
Right.
So.
Right. That's what's up. So is your talent, your gift, do you give it all to God, or what? How do you describe your gifts?
My gifts, like I feel like without God, I wouldn't even have them, and it's like basically, some people, they use their gifts, just in their spare time, or just to have fun. But I personally believe that I have a gift that can touch people, that can have an impact on the world, if if at all possible. And I feel that with singing, I can use that to basically better myself and to better my family also, and also to better the people listening to it.
Right. So is singing is your only gift, or what other gifts?
I mean, I sing, I act, I write, and through all of those, I basically use those to impact people and change their lives.
So singing, acting, writing. So is that your release?
Yeah, like without it, I don't even, like, I can barely function if I'm not listening to some music or writing some music. Like, it just goes through my head. Like this summer, when I was at my job, I had a lot of like free time on my job. I was just like a clerk, and I just sat there, and if people didn't come, then I was just there. So I spent that whole time, I said, before school starts back, I'm going to write 15 songs. So I was there, and I was writing songs the whole time, and it's like, is basically that void that's in my life is filled by music. You know what I'm saying? Or some type of performance. I have to do some type of performance. Either that, or I'm going to do a play, or I'm going to try and do a film, or I'm trying to try and do something, because I just need that in my life to keep me sane and keep me stable.
Wow, that's what's up. So if there was a child out there that is motherless or fatherless, or because of death, or they just don't want to be there, what would you say to them to encourage them?
I would say that, your parents are there, as basically an example of what to do or what not to do. And like, they're basically the facilitators. They're the people who bring you God's message. The same way the preacher brings them the message, they bring the message to you. And once they leave, or once something happens and they pass away and they can't, they're not there to get it to you, or even if you feel like that was the person that you love the most, and they helped you out the most, and now they're gone, you have to realize that the person you should be trusting in the most is God. Not your parents, not your mother and your father. You should love them and trust them too. But in the end, God is going to look out for you harder than anybody else is. Even though they're your parents and they've been there since birth, God was there before them.
Right.
So basically, put your trust in Him, and make sure that, if you keep Him in your life, then, regardless of your mother or your father, you can definitely make it through.
Right. That's what's up.